So welcome to lesson 4 of using Unity version 6.0. And in this lesson we're going to sort of fool around with the script that we wrote just so we get no sort of idea of what we're doing and why it's doing it and how we control an object. So let's review real quick. Remember, if we don't have a script on an object, nothing happens. So if I take this script off, if I remove it and then hit play, nothing happens. So C# is object-based programming and Unity is definitely object-based. So we need to put that script on an object to make it play. Now it's going to be way too fast, so let's make it 0.005. I think that worked. And then we play it so that we're in the game over here. And it's going on the z-axis. So let's take a look at that. And there's our z-axis there. So we're going to fool around and maybe make it rotate, I think. So we're going to keep this. If we put two slashes in front of it, like these lines and these lines, it makes it a comment. You can leave notes for yourself or notes for someone else in your script, or put whatever you want inside there, because the computer is just going to ignore it. But someone else's programming could take a look at it and see. Let's see, did I copy this? Yeah. So now I'm going to make it rotate. If I can spell it right. And now we'll have it go on this axis. Remember, this is the y-axis, so X, Y, Z. We have to save it. Let it compile. And let's see what it does. Okay, and again, because we made this public, it's easy for us to come here and maybe make that 0.5. Let's see what happens. So we can see it's a little confusing. It's rotating on the y-axis, but that's the way video games are sort of formed. It'd be like you having a pole here, and if you're rotating, you'd be looking this way, and then that way, and looking this way, and then that way. And so you would be rotating like that. Which means, let's just try it. Let's go back and make the speed here. And remember, I'm using speed because it is a variable. I no longer have to type anything but speed, and it remembers all this, which is the reason we use variables. They're like a mailbox. They're going to contain all that information, and we access it whenever we want. And this is actually going to roll. So again, if you were standing facing sideways and you were looking from side to side, that would be it. So we can make it rotate. We could make it rotate on two axes if we want. So we could have it rotate on the X and on the Z. And that's probably going to look a little weird, but it could be a good effect. Okay. And again, because it's a public variable, we just go here and we can make it faster if we want. And you can see I'm typing the speed in, and it's doing it instantly as I'm typing it because it's playing. So 5's way too fast. 1, no, 51 now. 1, maybe doable, and then we'd want to have like a 0.8 or something. Yeah. Now, remember, anything I do, because I'm in the game and I'm playing, if I make changes here, none of this is going to None of this is going to stay when I'm done. And plus you can see the rotation right there as we're looking through it. Notice I had 0.8 inside there, but it's right back to 0.5. So if I'm in the game and I make changes, nothing happens. Now we need to move this up a little bit. So let's take a look at our script. All right. And again, I'm holding the control and rolling my mouse. So this is void update. And we can see it's, if you're going to move anything in a game and you want it to keep moving, or be able to keep moving in a game, it has to go in void update. It can't go in void start. So void start is only going to happen one time when the game happens. So let's try that. So it is going to move, and let's have it move up. When the game starts, it's going to move up when using that same script, and I think we'll change that script. But let's just see what happens. So remember, transform translate is moving, this is rotating. And now let's see what happens with our game. So when the game starts, we can see it went from 0.5 up 0.5, which is what we have here, and then it starts to spin, which is a lot better effect. But we're using the same variable, so we're not going to do that. That's not efficient. So we're going to come write a new variable. Easy, right? Remember, all our variables go here because the computer reads this first. As it goes down, we want it to remember what speed is. So let's make it so we can control it. Let's make it so we can have a decimal. And let's just call it rise. And we'll make it 1. Semicolon. Okay, so now we have two variables here. And let's see what happens when the game starts. Okay. Notice, now we have two variables. We can have as many as we want, but now we're no longer dependent upon them being the same. So I could put 3 inside here. It's still going to rotate at 0.5, but now it's going to go up 3 when the game starts. One time. Okay. Let's see if we made it 6. Oh yeah. Well, look what I did here. So I kept my variable the same. That's the reason it wasn't rising. So when we went back here, this is the reason is you're starting to learn how to program. We want to make sure we understand all these basics. So right now my player is at 0.5. And even though I have 3 here, it only went up 0.5. It only went up here. So it's using the same variable. I don't want it to use the same variable. So I wanted to use rise here. And notice it's highlighted. If I click on that, every time I use rise, it's going to highlight it. It's going to remember it. So now I have separate variables. Now when the game starts, I'm going to go up 3. There I am. I went from 0.5 up to 3. And now I'm spinning at 0.5. I could make that 1. I could make that 7. I can do whatever I want as I go through that. So if I make it 7 when it starts and 1, I don't know if we'll still be able to see it, but it's way up too high. So we'd have to move our camera back. Let's just make it 5. Okay. So now we could have like an obstacle or something spinning in the game. when we start playing the game. Maybe some objects spinning, moving around. Maybe you have to go through them without getting hit, or maybe they're just part of the scenery. Okay, so now let's take a look at that script again so we make sure we understand what we did. Okay, so now I could have created a separate script if I wanted to and just put rise on it. I don't have to have two variables inside here, and I probably would do that in the future. That way I can tell what my scripts mean. So, and I think I might be able to, from here, let's try it. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we have two scripts now. Yeah. So we got a little problem. It named it rise, but it's still run. So let's make sure we come here and we have our run, which is this one. And then rise, which is this one, but it's still called run up here. So let's see if we change it to rise. Oh, that's not going to work either. You cannot use the same name as a variable. So we'll call this spin. And now we're going to have to go back in here. And you can see we got error messages. And rename this. Spin. Not the way we usually want to do it. But we don't have any error messages. So if we go back to our run, let's make it run. So this is run, and we really don't want to have the rise part of it. We want it to just do this. So we just want it to have this with no rotation. Okay, so look at my player. I've got run, which means it should just move. And then if I put spin on there, now does spin have... Let's close these. Let's see if spin has it moving also. So we are going to get rid of the speed. We don't need that. We just want it to rotate and go up. So let's go back and see what we got here. We got rise, rise. And because we made this rise, we're going to get rid of the speed. Speed is just on the one we want to move. And let's see if we clear those, okay? Okay, so let's see what happens now. And let's take a look at our player. Okay, so now we need to go put the spin on the player. And let's see what we got. Can't see anything, but if we remember, we have two different scripts on there, so let's make this 0.0005. So it moves really slow, and let's see if what it does. Well, it's moving. It goes up, spins, and is slowly moving. Perfect. Maybe not quite that slow. Should go up, spin, and slowly start moving. Now notice that rotation is making it move. So instead of it just going, let's remove this. Instead of it going in a straight line, it's going spinning. So remember, we want to get that second script on there. I think we can just go down here and add component and start typing spin. And there it is. Or you can drag it on there. So now we have two different scripts. And it is spinning and moving. But because this rotation is taking this point right here, it's moving it, right? So it's rotating and then moving. So it's going to sort of drift off to one side. Okay, so let's review what we did. So we have two scripts. And remember, if you name a variable in your script, you cannot have the script cannot be the same name as the variable. So I can't have like shoot and then come down here and create a variable called shoot. They got to be different names. Otherwise, the computer doesn't know what's going on. So similar names, but not the same. So spin, name here, spin in the game. We gave it a variable name of rise. You can name this anything you want to. That's up to you, as long as it means something. We had it go up, whatever we put inside that variable, and then we had it spin at the same speed. So this variable is controlling all of that. We could create another variable to have it rotated at a different speed than this, but this is probably enough for that practice. So here's our spin variable, rise, and here's our speed variable, which is the run one. So, and again, run, speed, different. And so the speed is moving us on the forwards and backwards. Let's move it one time so we see it going left to right. This is on the x-axis. So we're just changing it, saving it. And now we'll go left to right. We'll probably look pretty funny as it's doing it. Yeah, not quite left to right. And remember, because that axis is spinning, it's going on there. If you want to see it go straight, we would just remove this. And then we'll see it go left to right. Left to right. And if you want to see it go right to left, we would come here and make that negative speed. So now it's going to go right to left. Boom. And we can see it moving right there. It's going negative, right? So we have the Cartesian axis that we use in our math. And so negative is this way, positive's that way. Anyway, so a little bit of work today. Notice in our scripts, we now have two different scripts. We put two different scripts on our player. We can put as many scripts as we want. We can remove a script if we want to fool around. by just clicking this and hit remove. We're going to add that script back in that we have that I just took off by adding component, and we can then get it there. So, and remember, whatever this name is here has got to be the name here. So if it's spin or if it's run, it's got to be the same thing up here, and they can't be the same. Anyway, a little bit longer lesson than I wanted, but we did quite a bit. And remember, we're not done yet. So we would come up here, file, save as, scenes, and I would put like spin player. And then when I close my assets and I go to my scenes, there it is. And remember, if you don't save anything, you don't do anything, you're going to see this. And we want to see this. So remember, always save. Anyway, give it a try. Let me know if you have any problems or questions. And remember, the only way you do this is practicing. You can see I sort of fooled around with it. I made a couple mistakes and came back and changed it. Only by doing it will you learn. That means you turn the video off and you try yourself, write it from scratch. If you make mistakes, go back to the video and look and do it. Pretty soon you don't need the video. Whatever you're doing, whatever class, whatever subject area you're trying to learn, you need to be able to do it yourself.